What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of That Hobby Show. With me, as always, Huston from Chasing the Graph. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, my man?
Not a whole lot. The family is in town. It's kind of a big week for me. Today was my last official duty day in the Air Force. So, thank you. So,
Nice.
yeah, after 21 years, 11 months, and 6 days, I am officially retired.
That's
So
awesome, man. Congratulations. That's a
thank
that's a
you.
huge step.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely feels kind of weird to say I'm retired and not be. I'm like a week away from being 40, so yeah, it's kind of a weird feeling. I didn't accomplish everything that I wanted to, but still, it is what it is. So,
Yeah.
but this week's episode is pretty jam packed as far as everything that's going on in our I guess hobby bubbles. You have all your stuff going on with ALW, the MLB trade deadline was just this past week. I totally forgot the Olympics are going on right now, and then the national, and that's probably a good spot to start. So folks that don't know what the national is, it's actually the National Sports. What is it? National Sports Collectors Convention.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and it is the largest convention trade. Well, I see. I can't just say trading cards because it's auctions for sports memorabilia. Like I found out that Bill Russell is was today was the last day of the national. Auctioned off a bunch of his private collection. Just tons of autograph guests every day. Free autograph signings too, which is pretty sweet. And it's not just like when you say trading cards, it's not just the stick and ball sports. It's Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, wrestling cards are huge. Those are blowing up.
Yeah.
Soccer, F1 cards, NASCAR. So it's everything. And if you guys have watched our show before, we said next year, 2022, is our year that we are going to go. Hopefully that as of right now, everything looks good. So we'll be in Atlantic, we'll be in Atlantic City, New Jersey next year. Fingers crossed. But were you able to check out what was going on at the national? Just for me, it was through my Twitter feed because it seems like I don't know, maybe 75 to 90% of everybody that I follow was at the national in Chicago this year.
Yeah, that was the same with me. I didn't have any I guess you could say like close Twitter friends that was there. I do have one guy that I'm friends with that I met through various TTM autograph groups, baseball groups, and or whatever. He's a big fan of Chasing the Graph on Facebook, and he messaged me today, sent me a bunch of photos of stuff they had for sale, and that was probably the uh, best glimpse I had of National. And he was basically saying that unless you had an obscene amount of money to spend, that the only thing you missed were a few people getting arrested for theft and bad body odor.
The body odor, that's like a staple at the national. Yeah, it's crazy because a lot of the high dollar deals where people are throwing their wads of cash down on the table, and they're just built different, and it seemed like all the stuff that they were selling was like ultra modern, and it kind of blows my mind that you're paying thousands of dollars for guys that aren't proven yet. Maybe I guess out of all the so I'll go with NFL. Maybe out of all the young quarterbacks that I would feel safe investing in would probably be Patrick Mahomes, because
Without a doubt.
I'm pretty sure he's going to make the Hall of Fame if his career ended in training camp, which just started this week, NFL training camps. But the other guys, the Tuas, the Herberts, the Josh Allens, Kyler Murrays, they're commanding the same kind of money, but you could only hope that they would have the career that Patrick Mahomes has right now. Not let alone somebody like, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, John Elway, which Mahomes outsells all those. Well, he doesn't outsell Brady. I don't think anybody does as far as value wise. Yeah, it just blows my mind. But then the part about it that makes me happy is I've started, getting in the vintage since the pandemic kicked off, which doesn't seem to be going away. And the vintage stuff you can get, I don't know if I would say crazy cheap, but compared to what the other stuff is going for, it's a pretty good deal. And like the Bob Gibson 1959 Topps rookie card, it's like $400 or $500, and you're like, I don't know if I can pull the trigger. But here's the $5,000, I don't know, Luis Robert. Okay, I know it's a pitcher and a hitter, so okay, maybe I'll say like a couple grand on a DeGrom or something, But you already know what Bob Gibson did. I know he's not going to add to his stats, but his stats are like the Mount Rushmore of pitching. So really, when you think about it, that's a hell of a deal, and you should probably invest in these guys, or not invest, but buy that. And the vintage cards, I mean, there was tons of them that there was just crazy deals on, Hall of Famers that are in the dollar bins, and the cards may be a little bit well loved, but shit, I mean, that kind of tells a story, than the pack fresh card or pack fresh pooled that's put in the penny sleeve in a top loader and never to be touched, or anything to be done with it again, so
Yeah, and I think the best example of to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying is look at Yerman had the best 2 months out of any rookie, and here this guy is actually made it to the majors, had the best 2 month period that you could ever possibly want as a rookie, and then nothing after that. And people, and his autograph cards from, I think it was Series 1, are going several $100s. And now those people are, they're literally stuck with these cards, because you can get, I don't know, maybe $20-$30 for them now. And I know it's not that dramatic, but if someone who actually played in the majors made it up and had a 2 month period that they had, how can you really justify and spending money on someone that hasn't even stepped foot on a major league field? That's my whole thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't feel sorry for those folks that collected Yerman, because the dude was 28 years old. So what are you expecting him to accomplish? 500 home runs, 3,000 hits? I mean, the only person that made it to the show at his age is Ichiro. I think Ichiro came over when he was 27. And how long did he play to get 3,000 hits? And it's not like he was one of those dudes that was just hanging on to get 3,000 hits. I mean, he set the all-time single-season hit record. He broke George Sisler's record in just constant 200 hits every year. So what did you expect Yerman to do? Not that he's a bad player. It's just he's been kicking around in the minors and indie ball for 10 years. So did you really think he was going to keep up with that Hall of Fame trajectory for the next decade? And then it's funny that you bring him up, because then I believe he had the shortest retirement in the history of professional sports because
Yeah,
back in the White Sox organization.
I think so. I think it was like a total of like maybe like 48 hours on the high end where he just like
Yeah.
went dark on social media and basically unfollowed a lot of people and took anything baseball White Sox out of his Instagram bio and was just like literally posted a cap where it just said it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was like a few hours later he announced his retirement, and then within 48 hours later, and that's like a stretch, 48 hours, I don't know the exact number, he was like, back at it again, guys.
Yeah. See you in Charlotte. So, I mean, you can take a road trip up to Charlotte and see him. You know.
Yeah, maybe if he's there long enough, I can swing by a Panthers practice and hit that up on and get a twofer.
Yeah, I don't think Tony La Russa is going to be begging to have him called up anytime soon. It's just my guess.
Yeah.
That city looks pretty awesome. So, we've said that the national largest card show in the world. I don't know about you, but the biggest card show I've ever been to is my local Ruritan. I don't know if you guys have Ruritans down in, yeah, that and like hotel conference rooms. So that's like the biggest card show or memorabilia show I've ever been to, and that was like maybe 50 tables. But here, geez, man, I think it's in the thousands, right?
I
From what
think it is. That's what was in my. I think just under 2,000 was the number in my head. How accurate that is, I don't know, but
yeah, and then it's so big that all the hotels in the surrounding area were having like their own trade nights, and then like like splintering off. So it'll be pretty interesting because like I know Atlantic City fairly well. I used to frequent that a lot when I was younger, and so all the hotels are on the boardwalk. I forget where the convention center is. So I mean, you can just go right down the line and hit them all up and stuff. So it'll be pretty fun. And one of the cool things they do at the National is the autograph guests are like more specific to that region, you know. So with it being in Rosemont, Illinois this year, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, you know, it was more Chicago centric, you know, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox type stuff. So hopefully there's some Orioles legends in Atlantic City next year, but I'm a big Flyers fan and Sixers fan, so hopefully with Atlantic City only being like an hour and a half hour away from Philly, hopefully we'll be DC Metro, the whole DMV area, and the Philly guys, and well, I'm sure they're going to have the New Jersey people there too. So that'll run. Yeah. But anyway, so that's the National in a nutshell. Hopefully we did it justice. Probably not, because it's just insane. But I was snooping your social media this weekend, and it looks like you had a blast with the wrestling. And so were you at the it's called the Lucha Dome, right?
yes, sir.
Were you there, or was it because it was like a different promotion, right?
Yeah, the Friday night it was the Nightmare Factory. For anyone that doesn't know what the Nightmare Factory is, it is Cody Rhodes' training promotion. He is one of the he is one of the coaches. Him and any '90s, early 2000s WCW fans, they'll know Glacier. Kind of looked like a Mortal Kombat character almost
Yeah,
in the
like
blue.
Sub-Zero. He was pretty cool.
Exactly, yeah. Cody Rhodes and him are both coaches of the Nightmare Factory, and I think I can say this, but I don't think any wrestler can, like for or not for Nightmare Factory. But it, with Cody Rhodes being on AEW, can't say for sure, but it's been kind of hinted at to me a couple of times that that may or may not be where AEW goes for their talent first when getting the call up to the big league, so to speak. But yeah, the Nightmare Factory was in Friday night, and wasn't too familiar with the Nightmare Factory, but with all the work that I've done with the ALW and helping out the Lucha Dome, we got free front row seats. So we decided to go check it out, and yeah, it was an absolute blast, like an absolute blast. And the main event had Luther, who is a current AEW wrestler and on their roster. So it was cool to see him in person. I'd heard of him, knew of him, and there was quite a few other talents or wrestlers there that have been on AEW Dark,
Yeah.
which is still AEW. It's just mainly all YouTube, not actually on TV or anything like that.
Yeah.
And
Because if people aren't familiar, so like say you go to a WWE show, they have things that are called dark matches, which the show will start, the wrestling will start, but like say you go to a taping of Monday Night Raw and it starts at 9, they may start wrestling at 7, and they're called dark matches because they're not televised. And then they have like the LED ring banners. They'll change those, and I don't even know if they still have Saturday Morning Superstars, but that's when they would tape those episodes as well. Yeah, so that's where they get the AEW After Dark. It's what's called a dark match because it's not really televised.
Exactly, yeah. And there was probably, I'd say, 3 to 5 wrestlers there that are consistently on AEW Dark with the dark matches. So it was a lot of fun. And then Saturday night, the ALW, American Lucha Wrestling, they had their Young Guns event, which was basically all their younger talent, not necessarily the older guys that have been doing it for 15, 20 years, just guys that have been doing it for a few years. Some, more experienced than others still, but 2 nights in a row of wrestling, I lost my voice last night. Yeah, I hollered so much Friday night, and I said I wasn't going to talk any junk Saturday night, but Larry Isley, who, set me up with the ALW, he's retired. We'll just leave it at that. There's some stuff coming out about his retirement maybe in a month or so, so we'll just leave it at that. But he sits usually beside of us or something, and he'll holler and talk junk to the wrestlers just like anybody else. So me and him were kind of playing off each other and hollering and talking a little bit of junk. And I actually got to talking with 3 or 4 of the wrestlers from Nightmare Factory and worked something out with them. And I kind of tweeted about them on Friday night, and it was kind of weird because immediately like 4 or 5 of them that were there that night all followed me on Twitter, and I followed them back. So it was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
And,
So the Nightmare Factory, where is that in North Carolina? Is that in Burlington as well?
it's actually in Norcross. Their training facilities are in Norcross, Georgia. And they kind of go from venue to venue, wrestling either within themselves, not at the training center, or wrestling within that promotion, and which is what they did Friday night here. He's all over my social media. Tyler X, he just became the Lucha X champion, and he actually was in the main event in a tag team match with Luther from AEW, and that's how they kind of worked it in where the 2 promotions got together, so to speak.
Okay. Nice. And then I seen a video. Did you get to get involved? in a match?
Yeah, it's so funny. As soon as I walked in the door, because the way the Lucha Dome is set up, you walk in the door, there's kind of like an open area with like some gimmick tables. And then you walk up a little further, there's a concession stand, and then you walk up a ramp and through this like walkway, and then there's the ring and the seats. And as soon as I got in the door, Larry comes over here to me and he's like, I want you to meet Luke Sampson. He was like, we want you to work something out with Luke. And, Larry's like, I've got some stuff to take care of. You guys, talk, see what you can figure out. So we talked for a little bit, and me and Luke, we're chatting and, trying to talk about interview stuff and promoting Nightmare Factory possibly and promoting him. So we're sitting there, Luke and his tag team partner come out. They're facing another tag team, obviously. And it's one of those where the match never even gets in the ring. They just start beating the crap out of each other before any of them ever get in there. And they're going all around the, seating area of the Lucha Dome, just beating the crap out of each other. People are moving, people are getting up, people are shifting. And they were over by me, Luke that I had spoke to and the guy that he was, hooked up with at the time. And I'm recording and he sees me recording. And I guess I was that mark because we had already spoken everything. And he's like, brings the guy over to me with, kind of full Nelson's like, chop him. And I was like, huh. And he's like, no, really chop him. And I was like, the first I like reared my hand back and just kind of put it down. He's like, no, I'm being serious. Chop him. And so third time's a charm, and I just laid into that man's chest as hard as I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sat down.
So you went like kind of like a high five, or did you go like backhand?
I went north to south.
Yeah.
And it was more of like a thud than a smack.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
did you get down Ric Flair woos from the crowd?
Yes, there was some Ric Flair woos in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would have been like happier than shit, man.
It was wild, and for like 30 seconds, I was like, oh god, I was like amped up, and my granddad. So what?
Was your wife with you?
Yeah, she was. My granddad and my wife were there.
Oh. Did they think like this was all planned and you didn't tell them about it or something?
No, they knew. They knew that there wasn't anything planned, and I'm like, I sit down and for like 30 seconds, I was like, oh god, I want to smack him again. I didn't get it right, and then like sat there and I was like, maybe I really wasn't supposed to do that. I was like, I'm gonna get like freaking sued later or something.
Yeah, we're jumped in the parking lot,
Yeah, and so I went up, and because it was Nightmare Factory, it was such a packed house. We actually had like kind of separate seats. Like it was me and my granddad, and then across the aisle it was Morgan. So I'm like leaned over looking at her, and she's just like. And so I went over there and sat beside her. I was like, I don't know. I don't really think I should have did that. I was like, I'm gonna get sued or something. I was like, I have to like during intermission, if I see this guy, I have to be like, man, I'm sorry. I got caught up in the moment. I didn't. And so intermission comes and he comes walking right by, and I shake his hand and I was like, man, I'm sorry. I was like, I really don't feel like I was supposed to do that. And he was like, nah, man. He's like, you should have slapped me harder than that. And I was like, okay, good. And
well, now you know you got a free pass for now. So
yeah, and then later that night at the end of the show, they were all walking out, and he was like, God, my chest still stings, man. Oh, it still stings, man. Probably knowing good and well he still didn't feel it, but my anxiety went away, and I rested a little bit easier.
That's pretty awesome. So yeah, that's pretty cool to see that you're getting actually like worked into the show more and more. So what is it? It's August. I say give it till the end of the year before you're actually in the ring.
It crossed my mind last night when I was there that there have been the interviews that I've done within the ALW. There's been so many accidental, not planned storylines that I could really be a part of and could really like have the crowd be like, "What the hell?" Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Because I actually ended up doing 2 interviews last night, and one of them there was a storyline created, and the second one there was a storyline created, and none of it was planned. It was just all like, "Hey, I'm going to ask you these like 3 or 4 questions. If you want to, whatever you want to do, however you want to answer them, that's all on like that. Like, obviously, they have creative control and they can go with however they want to. And one of them, once again, was like a real crazy and like demonic character, and that one scared the shit out of me. And then the second one, I finally got my interview with Tyler X that I've been wanting to do for several months now. Our schedules just hadn't lined up, but he wrestled last night and he was there, so he's like, let's just go ahead and knock it out. But there's been, I think, 4 storylines created that the ALW can really take and run with and actually put some asses in the seats with.
Yeah, like the ALW superfan gets attacked. Who's gonna come to your rescue and be your tag team partner?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's endless possibilities at this point.
Have you had to have thought about what your gimmick would be?
I thought about what my wife's would be more than I thought about what mine would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really given it much thought, because if I did do it, it would be like I come out and like just like call somebody out, like Chaos, who attacked me, like like if they had like a way to replay a video, I could just like climb in the ring and be like play the video. Chaos attacked me, and I'm just the freaking cameraman,
Yeah,
and
there.
Chaos, get your ass out here. And then he like choke slams me in front of the crowd, and they're just like, "How dare you attack this innocent cameraman, you
Yeah.
demon, you," or something. But
Oh, that is awesome. So when can we expect these interviews to drop?
so the first one will be probably Wednesday of this week, because I got Tuesday off, so they give me all day to edit and everything. And it's going to be, um, I thought it was going to be with Foxy Roxy, but I quickly figured out by her doctor, who had to give her a clearance to be there because she is so far gone, that it was not with Foxy Roxy. It was with Roxy the Broken Doll. And that one was intense. He said let's just say the doctor said he gave her medicine, but he did not.
Oh, okay. All right, because
Yeah.
I was like kind of confused. Is it a real doctor or? All right, I'll
And
be.
then the one with Tyler X, that'll be I'll have that one uploaded next week. And that one's more Tyler's an amazing person, and he's worked his ass off to get where he is. And he actually was adopted from South Africa and had no idea what wrestling was, didn't grow up watching it, and had no idea what it was, and just kind of found himself at basically a wrestling school, and just it clicked, and everything he was doing, it was going right, and so he just kept working at it, and now he's the Lucha X champion.
Nice. That's awesome. So, last topic, probably a really sore subject for you. I have my notes. I don't. I probably missed a lot because there was a lot of minor trades that also happened that really people like me that follow major league or minor league baseball care about. But MLB trade deadline ended. What was it? Friday night, Saturday night, or something. But yeah, long enough that the guys are making debuts with their new teams. So your Rangers traded Joey Gallo. He had a sweet beard like you to the Yankees of all teams, where he has to shave it. I haven't seen what he looks like with it shaved. Probably weird, like Ronald Odor does, without a beard. There's a reason that dude had a beard. Yeah, but yeah. So it was actually him and Jolie Rodriguez, which that was kind of a big deal for me because Jolie Rodriguez played in Japan. So I had a bunch of his Japanese cards that I was looking forward to try and get signed at spring training. That's not going to happen. So they ended up getting I didn't get to write it all down, but like the biggest name was Glenn Otto. He has some Bowman cards. But then some of the other guys might have some cards as well. And then also the Rangers made another trade. Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy, who I did not know was still pitching. I think that dude's been pitching ever since I started collecting cards. It seems like he's been around forever. And Hans Kraus, they traded them to the Phillies. And the biggest name in that deal, as far as the Phillies, was Spencer Howard, highly touted prospect for the Phillies. But I think I hate the Yankees, and it will make me so happy if they still miss the playoffs, because that wasn't the only trade they made. They actually landed Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs, who that's going to be super interesting because I didn't think the Cubs were that bad this year. It was more like they weren't playing up to their potential, but those dudes have a ton of money, and they're like, oh no, they're like I don't know, acting like they're the Orioles, where we're this mid-market team and we don't have the money to keep these dudes, so let's just go for the rebuild, which was weird, really, really head scratching, because I don't think they were really that far off. To maybe
no, I think that the consensus is a lot of people think that they have set themselves back more than anything.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which it's going to be kind of interesting for someone like me that goes to spring training. One of the reasons I would only maybe go to the Cubs at all would be like once a year, once a spring, because it was always a madhouse. There was always tons and tons and tons of people there. So this kind of reminds me, really, the last time I went to the Cubs spring training was when they had Nomar, and I got lucky, and Nomar was the only autograph I got, and that was after practice, because he had his rules where you had to line up along the fence of the players' parking lot, and that he would come to the entrance and sign one per person. And yeah, so I was there for like 4 hours. Nomar and Joey Hammond was the other autograph I got, because I remember, or no. Shit. It was a guy he got traded from the Orioles, short, stocky dude. Damn it. I want to say Joey Hammond, but it wasn't him. It was Doug something. But anyway, I was excited to get his autograph. I recognized him in the parking lot, yelled at him, and he's like, oh, this dude actually has my card. So it was like 2003, because I got him on those ugly ass 2002 tops. So it'll be interesting to see how many fans they have at spring training, because the Cubs, they were one of the first teams where you would have to buy spring training tickets in advance, because it was the norm for them to sell out their spring training games. And it's becoming more the norm now for more teams, but it was always the Cubs. So, so the Cubs, Rizzo also got traded to the Yankees it was kind of an underwhelming haul. Only two players. And they didn't really ring a bell. Chris Bryant, kind of like maybe him or Rizzo were like the modern day Mr. Cub. So Bryant goes Yeah, Bryant goes to the Giants for 2 players. And it's really surprising that the Giants are actually sticking around. And I want to say they're leading the NL West. But I don't know if adding just Chris Bryant is enough for the NL West after what the Dodgers did. Like, it is like
Yeah.
it blows my mind. And then, but before I get to the Dodgers, let's finish up with the rest of the guys that the Cubs traded. Javi Baez and Trevor Williams to the Mets.
Yeah.
So they traded those 2 guys just for Pete Crow Armstrong. For anybody that's followed Team USA baseball, and the perfect game, huge high school talent. I think he was a top 10 draft pick last year, but Trevor Williams is a serviceable reliever and Javi Baez superstar, and all you get back is Pete Crow Armstrong. It's his second year in affiliated baseball. That's kind of a head scratcher. And then who else?
It definitely is. I mean, you would have to have like the front office explain that to you for it to make any kind of sense, and it still probably wouldn't make any sense.
No. And I would think when the Cubs approached him with that deal, they're like, okay, you want PCA and who else? And they're like, no, that's it. We just want him. You're like, okay. Like, sure.
I bet that transaction could not have gone down any faster once they were like,
Yeah. I don't know.
Who else? You want some cash in? They're like, no. And I bet before they ever said no, like all the paperwork was like done and finished.
Yeah. Well, now my favorite player could have been involved. Cash considerations. So he may have. I don't know if you've seen the baseball card that people have made of cash considerations on Twitter. I love it. So if I find who that guy is, I want that card signed. And then so the Cubs weren't done blowing up the team. They also traded Jake Marisnick to the Padres for seems like another guy that's been a forever prospect is Anderson Espinoza. He was with the Red Sox for a little bit. Then he's Padres. He had arm issues like a few years in a row. So but the Dodgers, man, they are not screwing around. When I heard they were in the running, well, it was like I heard Scherzer could either be going to the Padres or the Dodgers. So it seems like now what the Padres and the Dodgers are doing is what the Yankees and the Red Sox used to do back in the day, whereas they would go after a player not because they need him, just because they don't want the other one to have it. So I heard they got Scherzer, and I was like, man, that's insane. And then Trey Turner on top of that, I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. Yeah, so they got them for and here's what sucks for me as being a minor league baseball fan. They got I think it was 4 guys, but 2 of them, Josiah Gray and Kybert Ruiz. Me and my son seen them play in El Paso, a couple episodes ago, and those were 2 guys whose autograph I didn't get. They told me after the game, and I did not get them after the game. And the crappy thing is, it's not like they were being jerks. They were signing throughout the whole 3 days that we were there. It's just I didn't get them, and now they go to the Nats, and that's a team that I'm not going to get to see, during spring training. So that one kind of sucked. Yeah, and then who else? I think this might be a really good trade for him, kind of under the radar, was Danny Duffy from the Royals. Also went to the Dodgers, and that dude isn't bad. Their rotation now kind of reminds me of the Phillies back in the day. It was like Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, Roy Halladay, Roy Oswalt, and Joe Blanton. They have those 5 dudes on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and it's kind of like, what the hell is Joe Blanton doing there? So it's kind of like all those guys, Danny Duffy. So, I mean, their starting rotation now is what? Scherzer, Kershaw, Duffy, Urias, Walker Bueller. So that's 5 right there, right? And I'm probably missing somebody else that could be a starter. And Trevor Bauer if he comes back. Or I think, but if he does get reinstated, that they're just going to cut ties with him altogether. I mean, because you really don't
I
need
don't think there's much of a choice, really.
Yeah, no. And then it's their infield is I don't know if everybody's healthy or not, but what is it? You got Turner at third, Trey Turner at shortstop, or is Seager a shortstop?
I think it's Seager. I haven't paid attention that much to the Dodgers up until these trades.
Yeah. So, but yeah. And then what else do we have? I'm probably missing some other guys. Oh, another Cub that I totally missed. Craig Kimbrell.
Yep, I was going to bring it up.
Yeah, he goes to the White Sox for one of the coolest. I think has one of the coolest autographs out there is Nick Madrigal and Cody Hughes. And then we also back to the Nats, blowing that up as well. They also traded John Lester to the Cardinals for Lane Thomas, which it's kind of crazy to see the Nats doing this when they just won the World Series 2 years ago. And I'm not too familiar with their farm system anymore since, the Manfred Snap and Hagerstown lost their Nationals affiliation. So I'm not really up to speed on what their farm system looks like, but I don't think it's that stacked to be able to replace those dudes. Definitely not right away. And then
no, not at all.
Yeah. And then I think this trade was more a lot bigger in the hobby community, but it was Jose Barrios going from the Twins to the Blue Jays for Austin Martin, whose card prices are like astronomical this year. He was a first-round draft pick out of Vanderbilt. He's one of those dudes that why people are paying the prices for his cards. I don't know why he's NAA, but he was, drafted out of college, kind of the norm. And then the other guy was Simeon Woods Richardson. This is his second time being traded. He has a few cards in Bowman from his time with the Mets. And then another trade that kind of surprised me, and this one was like totally under the radar, but Michael Chavis from the Red Sox got traded to the Pirates. I didn't even know about that. And if anything, that should make people in the hobby, I don't know, kind of like open up their eyes a little bit more. Because what was it? The year before the pandemic, like he was kind of on those a Yerman Mercedes type tear, where he was like a hobby darling. And I was able to flip a few of his cards for at least more than what they would go for today. So
absolutely,
so he went to the Pirates. The Pirates also made another trade with the Yankees, and the big name for me was Park Joy-hoon. He ended up getting one. I think he got rid of his middle name, and he kind of like Americanized or Romanized his name now. So I think he's like Joy Park or something. I don't know. I hate it when they do that. But yeah. So yeah, the trade deadline, absolutely insane. It's probably going to take me a day to organize my spring training box, because I have one of those 5-row monster boxes of all the teams that are out here in spring training, and I have all their cards from their minor league system to their major league, because not only was there a ton of trades, but also people getting released to make room for these guys that they got to put on the 40-man roster and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to take me at least a day to get all that stuff organized, which I have time now that I'm retired. And then, but also the Rule 5 draft is coming up as well. I forget
Yep.
when that is now because that's been changed and stuff. But yeah, quite the week in
Yeah, I
sports.
think the biggest under the radar trade for me was the Sterling Marte and Jesus Luzardo trade. That one I
Yeah,
was reading about earlier, and I had no idea that went down, and I was just like, "Well,
yeah.
damn."
I think that was one of the first trades of the trade deadline. Well, one of them that actually kicked it off, you know.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, so Jesus went to the Marlins, which sucks. I think I only have like one or two cards signed by him, but
yeah,
that dude's going to be good. And Starling Marte, I really don't know what Oakland's doing, but I don't know. They seem to be good with their prospects.
yeah, yeah, and I feel like the I'm not gonna say Sterling Marte isn't good, but I don't think that his numbers have been as great as they were.
Yeah, no, he's definitely slowing down. It's weird because Jesus is like at the bottom of the mountain, like starting that climb, and Marte is definitely declining. He's heading down the backside of the mountain. So I don't know, but yeah, Oakland seems to know what they're doing. So who knows? Yeah, but damn near an hour already, so that went by fast. So what do you have to plug?
I've got the two interviews from American Lucha Wrestling going to drop this week and next week, and I'm super excited because it was literally about 2 minutes before we started recording this video that I got a confirmation from Jay Grillo and Hotshot Tag Team TSF, who are with the Nightmare Factory. We're going to be doing an interview this Friday. Yep. And they're going to be on AEW Dark tomorrow night on AEW's YouTube channel. So if you get the chance, check that out. And I'm so excited for that. They were one of the ones I met before the show started. And they've got a podcast that they've just started called Wrestle House, kind of a play off of the WWF In Your House back in the day. But I'm pretty sure that it's going to be Friday, this coming Friday at 6:30. We're going to have them on the StreamYard, my YouTube channel, Chasing the Graph. And I'm really excited about it. We're going to find out everything we can about them, how they got started wrestling. We're going to find out about their tag team, how their name came about, and all that stuff. I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that you're able to get guys from different promotions as well. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
you're creating your own Marvel universe. The Chasing the
yeah.
Graph universe. So
I feel like I'm gonna butcher his last name and I'm sure he'll never see this, so I can butcher it. But
you never know.
uh,
He might be one of the two people watching right now.
he's got like 4 Emmy awards for hosting TV shows. He does his own wrestling podcast now with like The Rock, John Cena, and stuff. It's Chris Van. I can't say his last name. It's like Villiet or Villet.
I think I know who you're talking about. And is it the dude? It's usually like in hotel rooms, and it seems like it's in a hotel room when he's interviewing them on the like I've seen him on Twitter and YouTube, and it's like this normal dude that gets all these huge wrestlers, and it seems like they all know him.
Yeah, that's him, and he actually follows me on Twitter. So it's like the it's like I'm the Great Valley version of him at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes. That worked out well.
So
Shout
yeah,
out to
yeah. Maybe he'll have you on one day. You never know, man. That'd be pretty cool.
one day we'll see. We'll see what happens because I mean, I feel this way with any professional athlete. I don't really follow any on Twitter. I don't really follow any celebrities on Twitter because if they do something dumb or if they say something dumb, it's gonna get retweeted a billion times and you're gonna see it.
Yeah,
And they already have a platform where if 500,000 followers for them or a million followers for them isn't enough, like that's a them problem. And like you're on TV, you're in front of millions and millions of people each week. So they don't need any help. They don't need any promotion. They don't need people retweeting their stuff 600 times to get the word out. They just tweet something like John Cena could tweet, hey, and it'd get like 400,000 retweets or something. But that's why I am going to take this independent wrestling thing and run with it because these guys, they need the promotion. They need people that will record a 10, 15-second clip of their match and post it somewhere or interview them or anything like that. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run with it as far as I can and, use whatever platform or what little bit of following I have to promote these guys as much as possible.
yeah. I follow a ton of athletes to find out if their DMs are open, so that way when I DM them to ask them to come on my show, they see that I'm a follower, and hopefully they don't scroll through their notifications and see that I just followed them an hour ago. So far it hasn't worked. So yeah, Mike Cameron, I'm talking to you. I would like you to come on my show, please. Yeah. So yeah, but he still hasn't checked my DM. I might have to hit him up again. Nah, he's actually really cool though. He signs TTM a lot, so yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that makes up for it.
Yeah. So, but I got nothing going on. So yeah, that's all for our show, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I had a mom and dad out in the front room watching the show, and my aunt and everything. So yeah, and yeah. All right, man. I will see you next week, and hopefully we hear about you assaulting some more wrestlers. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Hopefully somebody gets hit with a chair, and it's not you. So
that would be preferred.
So my dad's yelling in the front room now. They're watching, and it's on a delay. So after it ends, I'll be getting yelled at because he thinks the show's still going on because he's watching it on the TV.
Well, I'll say, hey, Dad, 30 seconds from now.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you guys next week. So.